Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the United Star. Today is the second episode of Star Cast, a weekly podcast that the in-house United Star team is doing to just round up what's going on in the world of football and have a little bit of fun with the sport we love. So we've got Priyan and Vishesh here today with me, Prasham, and let's straight away jump into it. Has someone attacked Ed Woodward's house again, or what? We are linked with three players in the past 2 days, and it feels like United are alive and kicking in the transfer market.
Yeah, we're always only linked.
Prashant.
Never get beyond that.
I'll tell you what the word was, and this is what I heard, that Manchester United had to pay a certain amount of dividends and stipends in the month of August, which were for previous transfers and for their commercial aspects. So they were not expecting to sign anyone in August. And since the transfer market goes up to October 5th, they were going to make all their signings within the month of September, which is very possible from United since we've become more of a commercial football club than a football club.
Yeah.
So when you look at it, I'm not surprised that if this is the reason why we haven't signed anyone, then September could be a very interesting month, especially with the way in the last 2 days Romano has come out. CF Bayern, someone that I believe is a very good source for Germany for the Bundesliga.
Mm-hmm.
He's come out. It's just going and showing that there is movement. I think we all were impatient to a certain extent because, we have the right as fans to be impatient that, Chelsea is signing the likes of Werner. Havertz is apparently close to them. They've signed Chilwell and we've done nothing. So I think September will be an interesting month.
But Vishesh, why we were impatient is because it seemed like we can only sign one player at one time. We weren't trying for other players at all. And that Sancho deal kept getting stringed on, and we were becoming basically another mockery for all clubs to be like, exactly. Man United talk and no show.
And not only that, we had our transfer target set. We knew the players we wanted. And now we're nowhere close to signing any of them. We had Grealish, we had Sancho, we had a midfielder we needed. And nothing's happening. I mean, maybe we're always in talks.
So, Priyan, let me ask you this.
No. Priyan, but Prasham and Priyan, the thing that it comes down to when you look at it, we wanted Sancho, but we didn't expect Dortmund to be so, stuck up on the fact that we'll take 120 million.
Why would they not be?
But
their best player.
But, I mean, any club. But it's negotiations, right, Priyan? At the end of the day, you negotiate. You don't expect them to just stay put. Same goes with Villa. I mean, when we're talking about Grealish, when we were in the last 2 weeks, we all expected Villa to go down. No one saw Villa staying up. So we were expecting the price to further reduce. As soon as you jump from a 50 million player to an 80 million player, I don't think Grealish comes into that 80 million category. I'd take him for 50.
I agree with you on the Grealish aspect. With Grealish, I definitely agree. But with Sancho, I have said this again and again, he is the perfect player we needed. Exact profile. And he has been amazingly consistent. 3 years, I think, for Dortmund. So I don't know why it's so shocking that Dortmund have stuck to their price. I'm not shocked at all because I get it, it's COVID times and all, but it's their best player. They would want to cash in on him. Why would they be negotiating? Why would they be willing to negotiate?
But what do we think of? But what do we think of the players we've been linked with? I mean, let's forget Sancho for a minute. We aren't going after Grealish by the looks of it. It does seem like something might materialize with Grealish towards the end of the window because he will want to force a move out. But what do we think of Donny van de Beek? Because it looks like it's happening. And in fact, we at United Star had called it might happen almost 2.5 months ago. Yeah. But what do we think about the player Van de Beek? And do you think he's the kind of player we need? Or do you think he's a second choice player we are signing because we couldn't sign our first choice?
I would love to see him play with Bruno and Pogba. I think it's a great midfield. And it's a very good sort of core for the team going into the future. Core for the midfield. I think it's a great
I'm kind of confused on this one because when you look at it, Van de Beek isn't the ideal number 6 to replace Matic. He's more of the number 8 and number 10 who plays an attacking role. So if we're bringing him in with the idea of playing Pogba, Bruno and Van de Beek together as a 3, that is a really attacking midfield. And I don't see us playing that against the top 6 side. Maybe to bring out the creativity at the end of the day, it'll help us break down the smaller teams. The conversation that everyone has, United can't break down
small teams. Also gives Bruno Pogba a break, I think.
And I can can see with the amount of football that we're going to play. Let's say hypothetically we perform similar to last season and end up in semi-finals or maybe even finals this time. We need that squad rotation. We cannot be playing Bruno and Pogba each and every game. So in that case, Van de Beek can be a good replacement for Bruno in the number 8.
Guys,
he settles in at that pace.
I absolutely agree with Vishesh, in fact, on this, because the way I look at it is that for the CDM position right now, we've got Matic, Scott McTominay, and Fred. For Bruno and Pogba, we've got no replacement. And if Van der Beek is coming in and he's going to be on the bench, that is one player that we have on the bench that you can actually bring on and will make a difference. Or you could start him in, because this year we have Champions League as well, right? So that's one player, and of course, along with Dean Henderson now, that you can bring on and start him week in and week out if one of the top players gets injured, or you can play him in the cup and be confident that he'll produce a good 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 performance every time he gets onto the pitch. So the conversation we've been having as United fans for the longest time about squad depth, I think this adds towards that more than actually being a first team player, because he definitely cannot replace Matic the way I see it.
I mean, Prasham, you're right. He can't replace Matic, but again, we don't need to play that holding when we're playing the likes of, let's say Crystal Palace or something, because they're anyways going to keep 10 men behind the ball. So we don't need a sitting defender in that case. We need a midfielder who can break the lines, and Van de Beek does that. I think he's a more modern midfielder, and for 36 million, I mean, it's a steal in this market. He's played some big games when it comes to Champions League. He's played for Netherlands. So he has that experience, and one could argue he has way more foreign experience by playing the big teams in comparison to Grealish. Not that I'm saying that I wouldn't want to see Grealish, and I can see United go for both Grealish and Van de Beek. But if we sign Van de Beek, that is some serious squad depth. And then I would like to ask a question to you all, because I've been hearing this news recently, that Fred may go to Galatasaray on loan. So do you think Van de Beek coming in would see Fred going out, for the simple reason that we're looking at Pogba, Bruno, Van de Beek, Matic and McTominay and Fred? Those are 6 people. You can only play a possible 3. You can't keep the other 3 happy at the same time. So you have to do something about this. And we're not taking the likes of Pereira, Lingard.
I think 6 good midfielders is proper. I mean, I don't think there's any problem with
Vishesh,
that.
I think Vishesh, you're breaking it down the wrong way. I think the way this needs to be broken down is there is Fred. There's Pogba, Bruno, and Van de Beek in one category. So out of the 3, 2 will play, and then there is Fred, McTominay, and Matic in one category, which from out of the 3, 1 will play. Now McTominay is a young player who is brilliant, and we are hoping that will develop. But he is most likely to play in those cup games, in the Carabao Cup and in the FA Cup. The way I see it, he will step in the Premier League, maybe off the bench most likely. Where I see Fred coming in is in those weeks where we play Premier League and Champions League. I see Fred playing in the Premier League or in the Champions League, depending on what draws we get, and Matic and Fred being rotated like that. So I really don't want to see Fred going out on loan to Galatasaray, because I don't see the point in it. First of all, Galatasaray is not a club where he's actually going to develop a lot. If he's going out on loan, I'd rather see him going out on loan somewhere where they are playing in the Champions League, because Fred, at the end of the day, that's where we want to be. And Fred is not at that age where you send him out to a lower club and he's going to get game time and learn and come back. So I would be completely against such a move, because it makes no sense the way I look at it.
I completely agree. I think 6 midfielders is ideal to have for a good squad. I think it's perfect.
But let's move on to one other team that seems to be living in a COVID bubble where Corona doesn't exist and they have all the money in the world. Chelsea is actually an interesting thing, because we forget that they sold Hazard for over 100 million, and they had all that money lying in their bank account, and they're just spending that right now. So as United fans, is it actually a fair comparison to compare to Chelsea for us as fans and also for the outside world, as to Chelsea are signing so many players and United aren't?
Let me put this, okay? So Chelsea played their preseason game yesterday with everyone, you name it. They played it with all their possible signings against Brighton, and they drew 1-1. They had the likes of
Pulisic, got injured. Ziyech went off injured.
They had the likes of Werner. You expected this. They had a transfer window ban where they didn't get anyone per se. It was all their previous signings or loans that were made permanent. And then they just came out and bought players. I mean, they've bought 5 players over a span of 2 years. So if you split it with the transfer ban, it's 2 and 2. It's not surprising, to be honest. They were going to strengthen. Lampard did a decent job with the side he had, and Chelsea play football. They believe that club is for football. It's not a commercial club. It's more football oriented. So I'm not surprised with the way they're going,
The way
especially with
I
the
look
way
at
they're
it is
signing players.
sort of, so Chelsea did finish, they finished one position below us and with a very, very much worse squad than us. I don't consider their players to be as good as us, their first team at least. So with that, they've gone on to get players, and all of these players are first team players. I think other than Malanga Sar, all of these, and if they get Havertz, even them, these are first team players. So all their first team players of the last season, they go down to squad players. So their squad depth is amazing because they have as backup they have people who've played in the Premier League and they've had a great season in the Premier League. And I think that's what worries me even more. They've gone out and played the manager mode
But Priyan,
on FIFA.
this is where I want to say something that it all depends how these certain players settle into the Premier League. We've seen the likes of people
that's
come
with
from
any transfer.
Netherlands.
That's with any
Like
transfer.
if you look at Depay came, the shirt got the better of him. He didn't end up performing well at United. Went forward to Lyon, did a great job. So the same thing applies to the other players. I mean, when they
For sure.
move,
But this
how are
happens
things
with
going to
any
be?
transfer. This happens with any transfer. I mean, I don't think it's just because it's Chelsea. It can happen to any transfer. You can either click or you don't click. But the intention, I think, is what matters. Chelsea look like a club who want to go in the right direction and they know what they need for that. But United, as of now, I mean, we could still end up getting all our transfer targets. Not doubting that, but early signings always it's better because now you see Warner's got game time for Chelsea. Ziyech may be injured, but he got 45 minutes into the game. So they're already getting up to speed with gelling with the team, sort of getting into the tactics. It's yeah, sure.
Thing to take into account is we haven't even started our preseason.
That's
If we
because
get the likes of Van de Beek in within the next 1 week, we have a player settling in. I don't see Jadon Sancho happening that easily, even though I still think that there is a chance of him coming. But if we get the likes of Van de Beek, and I would like to switch from our Chelsea topic to a certain player that I think fits the Matic role, which is Thiago Alcantara from Bayern, because CF. I know Prashant does not believe in this. We've had this conversation, but CF Bayern, which is like a completely valid source according to me, came out and said that United are interested and will be making a 30 million bid. Liverpool are not agreeing to make that 30 million bid. I think 30 million is a cheap price for a 29-year-old who could
No,
then,
if
I'm
30
not saying
million,
he'll
if we get
replace
Thiago
Matic.
for 30 million, if we get Thiago
Yeah.
for 30 million, it'll be the best piece of business we've done in the last 5 years. Trust me. That guy's the
Yeah.
best
So
player
that's
in
what.
his position. But the problem is that that guy's also house hunting in Liverpool right now. So I don't see the transfer happening. I'll be overjoyed if we get Thiago. If we get Thiago, I mean, sell Fred for all I care. Thiago is the best player in that CDM position. He was the man of the match. I know Koeman got it, but he was my man of the match in that Champions League final. He absolutely bosses the game. And I think there's no question as to whether he'll be a quality signing or no. I don't see him having a problem adjusting into the Premier League. He plays that high press game. He's an absolutely brilliant player. The only problem is that it seems that it's too close for Liverpool to happening, and that's where he's set on going, and that's why I don't see it happening. If it happens, Thiago will be the best signing of the summer, even if Jadon Sancho comes to it.
I agree.
Prashant, this is what the statements that has been made from the CEO of Bayern is that for Thiago, we expect an offer to come soon. Liverpool have been making offers, but it hasn't been matching the 30 million mark that Bayern want. And honestly, I don't think 30 million is that much for a player of Thiago's,
Not at all.
quality. So if United can swoop in on this one, as CF Bayern is saying that United are interested, what is your take on a midfield signing of Van de Beek for the Pogba Bruno replacement kind of thing, and Thiago and Matic for our CDM holding position. Do you think
Like
that
I
sorts
already
out
said,
our
Vishesh.
midfield
Like I already
completely?
said, Vishesh, it'll be a bigger signing than Jadon Sancho. I'll tell you why. Because Greenwood looks like he can play on that right hand side. Thiago there's no competition. Matic will not start. Thiago Alcantara is the best player in that position. Period. He can link the attack and defense up. He's brilliant at reading the game. He's brilliant at reading, at breaking the play up. And I mean, he played for Bayern Munich, man. He won the treble. He's just won the treble, and he was an integral part of that team. Bayern losing Thiago is going to be a big loss for them. There are not many people that can do the Thiago role. There's Kante, there's Thiago. I can't even think of a third person. Sergio Busquets is too old now. So, I mean, I'm telling you, Vishesh, Thiago coming to United will be the best signing of the summer. There is no question in my mind about it.
Yeah, I agree.
But let's sidestep a little from the transfers. I think we've spoken a lot about the transfers in today's podcast. But of course, it's because there is a lot of players being linked with United suddenly. Let's sidestep to some of the games that happened on the weekend. We spoke about the Chelsea game. Let's talk about the Community Shield final. Arsenal taking on Liverpool, and well, is Arteta actually onto something? He's 2 for 2 in trophies. Arsenal are looking good defensively with David Luiz playing there. Emi Martinez looks like a great second choice keeper, and Aubameyang is doing what Aubameyang does.
I see them going forward for sure. They are better than they were under Unai Emery, 100%. But I'm still not convinced. Defensively they do look solid, but I still see David Luiz making those, having that moment where they mess up, and it. I think even the goal that Liverpool scored, it seemed to be very messy, but I think there was sort of the defense was in a mess for that 1 second, and they conceded.
Mm-hmm.
So they're definitely going forward, but I wouldn't give them that much for being completely changed, and they're playing well. But
personally, I think Arteta is a good manager. I have said this on record before that I think Arteta is a good manager, and Arsenal are in the right hands. But it all goes down to the fact how they're going to use this transfer window. They got the likes of Willian, which is a great signing according to me. They're getting a defender. I don't know how he's going to turn out, but they're building on something. It's very similar to the Manchester United project. They've got someone who understands the club, who knows how things are going to go, who's not going to blatantly come out and say that the owners are not spending money, who's going to keep it within the club and try to develop the club. So I think Arsenal are onto something. Do I see them, qualifying for the top 4 next season? No. I think the competition is way more for them to reach the top 4 right now. But what I would like to ask you all is, what does this tell us about Liverpool? Like the loss that they've had against Arsenal.
To that, Vishesh, I just wanted to say a couple of things about Arsenal. The things that I noticed yesterday is Pepe and Willian weren't playing. So first of all, that they have a lot in store for in terms of going forward. The other thing is that much talked about William Saliba also did not start. So I think that is also something that you must take note, because Saliba is set. He had the best statistically. He was the best defender in France last season. So he's supposed to be great. And one player that I think really stood out in the game was Bukayo Saka. I think he is absolutely brilliant. I think he's just fantastic to watch as a neutral. He's great to watch, and he has a lot of potential. So it'll be interesting to see the fact that they've got Willian and Pepe now, how they use Saka off the right. Maybe they turn him into a right wing back, or what they do. I think that's also going to be interesting to see. But I think Arteta maybe he's outsmarted Pep, Klopp. He's done that twice now. He's outsmarted Lampard. He's outsmarted all these managers, because yesterday in the first half, Arsenal were tactically brilliant. But yeah, Priyan, what do you think about Liverpool?
I mean, again, I think one game is too early to judge a team. It's the Community Shield, But yeah, it's. I wouldn't say they're completely out. They're still a very good team, but I think they need a few players. I think maybe another attacker, maybe someone in the defense. I think they played James Milner. He's too old. I think he was very clumsy yesterday. So they need those players who can sort of step up and replace the first team. I think they've been very lucky with injuries last season. So I'm not saying they won out of luck, but they have been very lucky. But they still, if they have injuries, it's sort of problematic for them.
Yeah,
No, but talking on the Liverpool aspect, something that I read yesterday, regarding Van de Beek. So just connecting to the two things. It was said that Van de Beek was either going to go to United or Barcelona, right? And now things have become clear that it's going to be United that he would most likely go to. But then it came up that Barcelona are in for Wijnaldum.
Yeah.
So if Barcelona are going to go for Wijnaldum, then the first game becomes: will United allow Liverpool to get Thiago so that they can get Van de Beek? Because Liverpool will then need a replacement for Wijnaldum, and the best replacement they can get is someone like Thiago. So this is forming like a triangle between all the players and how things are going to flow.
Also, on a
but
side note, I
Vishal,
think
what
that
I
that
think,
shows how much the Barca has fallen that they're bidding for a player like Wijnaldum right now when they
I
need to
think, I,
sort of
I, I think Wijnaldum is a very good player. But
yeah, but for
just
Barca,
to, I think Gini Wijnaldum is an absolutely brilliant player. But uh, but just to add to the Liverpool point, I for one think that they're going to fall off this season. I don't see Liverpool making a considerate challenge for the title for two simple reasons. A, they haven't been linked with anyone but Thiago, and like Priyan said, what we saw Nico Williams play. Okay, Nico Williams has been rated a lot by Liverpool fans. He's been bigged up by Klopp. Every time I've seen Nico Williams play, he's gotten a yellow card within the first 45 minutes. So I know he's young and obviously he's just playing a few games and all that, but I don't think. I mean, obviously he's nowhere near replacing Alexander Arnold in that defense. If Salah gets injured, if Mane gets injured, Henderson being injured has affected them so much. So really, I do think that the way Klopp plays for 2 seasons in a row, they've gone at it at high intensity, at full throttle. I think it takes a toll. We saw that with the Borussia Dortmund team as well. After
yeah.
winning the league, the team really did drop off. So I see that drop off coming unless they sign 3 or 4 very good players. Minamino is okay. He's not like he's not what everyone was talking about. It's not like Minamino can replace Salah. It's not even close. So I, for one, I'm going to stick my neck out and say that I don't see Liverpool challenging for the league this season. And that's actually sad because then that means City will run away with it.
No, it's clear, Prasham. This it's going to be. I have a feeling it's until or unless we make our 3 dream signings, and I'm being very hypothetical out here, of Thiago, Van de Beek, and maybe another attacking player. I think it'll clearly be a City versus Chelsea kind of title race. With the way, if the Chelsea signings click, there is no reason why Chelsea cannot try and go for the title. But yeah, it's going to be City. Plus, if they get the full Messi thing, I mean, might as well not start the league and give them the title and things.
But yeah, Messi, we are going to soon put out a video. If you've already seen the Messi video, that you know what we think about Leo Messi. But the problem here is, I feel that the problem here with Chelsea competing for the title, I feel, is that they do have this great manager in Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal. Till he is in goal, there is no way Chelsea can compete for the title.
I
He's
think they've been
absolutely.
linked to Donnarumma from AC Milan. I think an exchange deal. That's what I read last time.
Yeah, I don't think AC Milan would take something like that and concede more goals. Zlatan won't allow that. Don't worry.
So guys, this what we think is that Liverpool aren't competing for the league. We think that Chelsea City are going to run away with it. Chelsea obviously have signed some great players. United have done sort of well, at least in being linked with players as always. Arsenal are looking good.
Prasham,
Let's talk
can I
about,
mention something? Yeah,
yeah,
can I mention something? Did you all see this guy Doherty's signing video for Spurs? I think
yeah. I
Priyan
was
told
just
me
going to
Brilliant,
say,
about it.
brilliant.
let's talk about Jose Mourinho and Tottenham Hotspur.
Video was
Dude,
just brilliant.
I think Mourinho is building on something. I'm honestly going to say this. He got the player from Southampton to make
Albion.
his yeah to make his midfield stronger. He's got Doherty to replace Aurier, which is a decent replacement to say the least. I think he's learned from his time at United and knows that he won't have that money to spend, and he's trying to get those cheap players, because for 16 million getting Doherty from Wolves, a player who is exceptional when it comes to the assists and making those crosses.
You could
It's
argue he's
insane.
third. He's the third best right back in the league after Arnold and Walker.
Yeah. No, what about Van Bissaka, bro?
No, going forward. Going
Yeah,
forward.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
So,
Spurs are building something, and we
the other
can't.
thing is, what I want to say about Spurs is Mourinho has signed players who are right on that cusp of making that step up from like a outside the top 16 to the top. Højbjerg has been captain of Southampton, I think, for now 2.5 seasons. Dorothy, as we all know, we've seen his quality going forward. Both of them were on the cusp, like these are the players that if they come into the top squad, if they click, it's going to be an excellent signing. And if they don't, not that much money. So I think it's a very smart piece of business, and Mourinho as well. But also Daniel Levy is an incredible sort of. He's a proper Israeli Indian businessman who knows what he wants to do and he gets it done.
Prashant, but that's what's interesting, right? Like Mourinho has agreed to these signings. You don't see Mourinho go for such kind of signings. You always see him go for the big names. You would never see him go for players on the cusp of reaching.
That's not entirely true, is it, Vishesh? Mourinho famously told Roman Abramovich told him, you can buy Ronaldinho, and he said, give me Drogba and I'll give you the Premier League.
I mean, dude, we saw what happened at United. I just think that he's learned from his mistakes, and Spurs should be a better side next season after having half a season under Mourinho.
I also read Atletico Madrid are apparently willing to offer Diego Costa to Jose Mourinho. It is the ultimate shithousery coming back together in the Premier League. I'm up for that, man. I'm up for that.
Yeah. But where would he play?
I don't know, bro. I think Kane is injured anyways. Like, Kane would be injured for half the season. He has to do that. It's in his contract that, if you don't play for half the season,
10 years down the line, Mourinho is going to come out and say, Mr. Levy said I can give you Messi, but I said give me Costa and I'll give you the Premier League.
Spot on.
But before we end this, I have a question for you all. Before getting into this, I just read about this and I think it's an interesting one. Just rate these three players in the order of 1, 2, 3. 3 strikers in their prime. Whom would you take? Luis Suarez, Robert Lewandowski, or Sergio Kun Aguero? Just rate them 1, 2, 3.
Lewandowski, Suarez, Aguero.
Vishesh?
Lewandowski, Aguero, Suarez.
Wow. In their prime, I think that much.
It goes clear that both of us have said Lewandowski because, dude, Lewandowski is a player of the caliber that, irrespective of the age he performs, he should have won the Ballon d'Or this season. There's no reason why they've called off the Ballon d'Or. I think it's just, Messi and Ronaldo won't win it, so let's not give it to anyone new and continue the trend or some shit like that. Because honestly, Lewandowski outperformed all players on planet Earth this time.
Yeah, and he had lesser number of Champions League games, lesser number of league games, and even then he's outscored everyone. He's been brilliant. Machine.
But let's face it, the Ballon d'Or is a popularity contest, really. Does it even matter? Lewandowski is the best player in the world right now, I don't think. But I'm actually going to say something other than that. I'm not saying this is the player I'd want at United, but in terms of quality, I'm going to say Suarez, Lewandowski, and Aguero, because a prime-time Luis Suarez could destroy
let me mention something, because you've mentioned Suarez right now. Barcelona have clearly said that Suarez is going to leave and they are going to terminate his contract and he is going to find a new club. Do you think
he
fits United?
No.
We don't play a Suarez sort of
game. Forget that, Priyan. Forget that. He disrespected the club. He disrespected our captain. He's racist. And for that very reason, he should be nowhere near Man United. But in terms of player quality, out of Lewandowski, Suarez and Aguero, I think Luis Suarez is head and shoulders above them. We saw what he did at Liverpool. We saw what he done at Barcelona in his prime years. The man's destructive. But no, racist. Absolutely racist. I'm going to say that racist asshole does not deserve to be linked with Man United at all. He disrespected Evra. He disrespected the club. And, to be honest, all this Black Lives Matter that Barcelona are talking about, it's so hypocritical of them to talk about it when they start Luis Suarez week in, week out. I mean, absolutely not.
For sure.
I agree, Prashant, completely.
So, guys, let us know what y'all think. Whether it's Aguero, whether it's Lewandowski, whether it's Suarez. Let us know what y'all think about Donny van de Beek. Have Arsenal improved? Have Liverpool lost it? Are the other wheels going to fall off this season? And let us know what y'all want to hear us talk about next week. And do subscribe to the channel. We have a lot more stuff coming your way. And thank you for watching and we'll see you next time.